Alright everybody, welcome to my review of Turning Red, which has turned out to be quite the controversial little monster movie. Now, I'm putting out this video as a light reaction to another racist as fuck YouTube video that I'm not going to bring up, I'm not going to link to, but it somehow completely ignored reviewing this movie and spent the entire video complaining that there were black people in the new Batman movie. Get over it, black actors need work. So, Turning Red is the newest and most controversial Pixar movie ever made. It is a period piece about a Canadian Chinese girl named Maylin Lee. Now, right out the gate, before we even get into the movie, retards out there are hating out the sheer premise of this without even giving it a chance. That, you know, there are a lot of white nationalists nowadays, there are a lot of racist, crazy fucks out there, and they're just hating this movie because it stars a Canadian girl. And she's Chinese too, but it's fucking crazy that, you know, I've lived a long life, and this is like the second movie I can even remember in history that starred Canadians. The first was like Scott Pilgrim 10 years ago. But if you're gonna shit on a Pixar movie just because it stars Canadians and not like toys or robots or bugs, get the fuck over yourself. You're a fucking racist. Now, if Hollywood movies have taught me anything about Canada, it's that it's a fucking dangerous, icy hellscape full of lumberjacks, massive, untapped crowds of lonely, horny Asian American women with bigger boobs than their straight-up rice-fed Asian women cousins, and who know refined French-Canadian style kissing techniques. Oh, and I guess Canada is also the home to a race of sad, dorky white guys who want to be stand-up Canadians, but they can only do that if they can get out of Canada. If they can get out of Canada, they will become wealthy movie stars. Unfortunately, most of them can't build a boat to cross Niagara Falls, which is a very dangerous waterfall they have there. Anyway, so oddly enough, in 2002, I did have Asian Canadian friends, so I can admit to myself that Asian Canadians exist, and they're cool. Now, Canadian racism aside, this movie is also extremely about female sexuality. And even though it's not literally about periods, or wait, is this movie literally about periods? The fact that this movie has the balls to even admit that women go to the bathroom and have sex drives is enough to put it on the shit list of most of the Bible Belt. Which is pretty funny when you consider that there are so many Disney movies where the characters just straight up don't even have bathrooms, and in this one they do. You know, Woody from Toy Story never went to the bathroom, or had a period. He only had to deal with overt references to slavery and the constant threat of body mutilation. Anyway, so on top of that, Turning Red is the second movie in a row where Disney, a studio who used to turn out, you know, all these movies led by these gorgeous, skinny white princess women, has created a movie that stars a chubby, ethnic glasses girl character. Now, I have to outright laugh at the fact that this is some kind of controversy because there's just like this long-standing standard for fictional Disney women. But I will definitely raise an eyebrow if this does turn into a trifecta or otherwise some long-running trend where all the new Disney movies from here on out star chubby glasses girls. Maybe it's just the changing taste in the country that, you know, central chubby glasses girls are in and bitchy high-maintenance princesses are out. But, you know, that's another point where people are all like, oh no, fat girls. Oh no, she's not skinny and white. I don't fucking care. So anyway, so this country is deeply divided lately. Disney is really on like literally everyone's shit list right now because they're simultaneously too woke and they're not woke enough. I think if it comes down to it, it's the fact that there are literally two Disneylands in the USA. One is in California, one is in Florida, and the California one is like totally churning out all these movies about gay teenagers. And meanwhile, the Florida one is just sitting back and is completely okay while, you know, the governor there is like all up in the persecution, inflicting suicide and potential murderers on gay teenagers because gay teenagers exist and you have to admit that, and they're going to kill themselves if you don't support them. And the state of Florida is very currently fucked in the head with like the whole fact that Donald Trump is living there and all the other redneck shit that's going on there. Look, throughout the past 30 years, Disney has been a very evil company, mostly concerned with their own bottom line at the end of the day, and now that they own all the shit I like, I just have to begrudgingly live with them, but, you know, every once in a while they come out with a decent movie, and this movie's decent. So, yeah, Pixar, they're also definitely getting straight up fed up with the shit, too, because they want Disney to, like, come up against, like, the anti-gay issues, and plus, on top of that, they've literally had their past 3 films sent straight to Disney Plus Hell, on the basis that Disney is trying to keep children from getting movie theater COVID, which is the worst kind of COVID, and also kids are too dumb to wear masks. But then a bunch of trolls are then therefore shitting on the very low box office take of this movie, when this movie was legitimately only released in like 8 art house theaters like across the US, mostly in New York and LA, to qualify for the Oscars. I mean, on the other side, you have like Encanto, which was like actually released in theaters, and that just like straight up outright bombed and only became like popular after the fact when people watched it over and over again on Disney Plus. Okay, so all controversies aside, now let's actually discuss the film 6 minutes later. Okay, so the film is a semi-autobiographical story about the director who 20 years ago in 2002 lived in Canada as a young fangirl, which that just makes me feel fucking ancient because, you know, this is the first movie to have nostalgia for that fucking year. It also means that if Maylin was real, she'd be 34 by now. Anyway, so Maylin is this fun, pretty outrageous dork girl. She's pretty funny throughout the movie. She does get a little bit obnoxious by the end of the film, but by and large, she's a cool character. She has a bunch of friends who are her support group and keep her sane. A lot of people are hating on them too. But again, that's only because this movie is just like a massive punching bag for racists and sexists. The friends were vague. I mean, they all had like unique looks. They all had unique colors. I don't remember their names after the movie, but I honestly thought they were fine characters. Although there was the fat Trixie Tang Gremlin girl character just constantly making the weirdest fucking faces in this film at like all times. Like, that girl had like very intense aura. I kind of think this film might have been meticulously designed that if you freeze frame the film at like any point, it's like designed to be a meme on like Twitter. It's like some weird 4D metaverse Twitter chess shit. That being said, it doesn't make for a bad movie. Like, I was actually shocked to discover people were actually shitting on the animation in the film. I thought it was really cool, and I thought I really dug what they were doing with the animation, because the animation in this movie is basically a combination of classic Pixar style mixed with like this strong kind of Studio Ghibli / 90s anime, very Sailor Moon inspired like in the backgrounds, very anime influenced to make it something that is truly, truly unique. Like, I've never seen a movie that looks like this because it is like a straight up like fusion of like the Pixar style and like old anime style. So I thought it was cool. Although a lot of people are saying that this has resulted in a side effect where at points in the film it looks exactly like Wallace and Gromit. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is 100% true. They did do that. Not sure if they did that on purpose, but that's definitely a side effect of this weird like Asian fusion animation style. Anyway, so the meat and potatoes of this movie is the weird relationship between May and her mom. Boiling it down, May does not communicate with her mom efficiently or effectively, and so her mom comes off as too strong and like kind of crazy. Now, I've heard her mom described as a tiger mom, but she's not abusive like most tiger moms. She's just more like a bad Asian helicopter mom, and May's fear of her like keeps her from properly communicating with her like until the climax of the film, which is like kind of the whole point of the movie. The mom is another severe pressure point of the film, a very much focal point of like the discussion with the film. The mom is portrayed by Sandra Oh in what is definitely one of the strongest roles of her career. The mom utterly kills it. There's a lot of hot takes about was the mom right, or how fucking dare Disney make a movie where you think about rebelling against your parents. Even though I gotta say, if you haven't rebelled against your parents, I don't know what to say to you. You live in a basement. Like, the mom was a weird character. She's arguably like the second major lead of the film. Also kind of the villain too. And then at the end of the film, the mom turns into a smoking hot teenager, which is very... the fuck? Like, she has that Disney princess figure going on like strong. But yeah, a lot of people kind of want the mom to be the main character because the mom is kind of more interesting in a lot of ways. The mom is a very interesting villain because you have to really consider her perspective, that she's doing everything out of love, and honestly, she is kind of right. Because the panda in this movie is basically a demonic kaiju, originally created straight up for like killing dudes in the feudal eras. So, spoilers for the end of the film, but when the mom finally releases her panda is straight up a kaiju. It destroys a major section of downtown Canada. It nearly kills May's grandmother, leaving her with a permanent scar on her face. And it's completely unclear if May's mom's panda was always a kaiju, or it just became a kaiju at that moment because May's mom was so emotionally unstable. So, yeah, considering that May's mom was justified with a lot of her fear of her own panda, because the panda is an ancient cursed murder weapon, yeah, it's wonderful that May mastered hers and also figured out a way to monetize it, which is kind of skanky, but still, it's ultimately a massive weapon, and I don't know how blood moons work. Do they happen once a year or once every 4 years? But the whole process where the panda spirit had to be sealed on the blood moon and a familiar object was not very well explained at all in the movie until the ending. Yeah, I think if they had just explained better, like, what exactly the process was, it wouldn't have been that big a deal in the story, and also there was a whole fact it coincided with the stupid boy band concert. Boy bands are stupid. Anyway, so May using a fraction of the panda's power did almost kill a kid on the playground and broke a window. And yeah, maybe the mom is not completely wrong about the fact that the panda is fundamentally dangerous. Once again, the big lesson in this film is communication. There was too much bad communication with May and her mom, and it also sounds like her mom and her grandma had an even worse situation going on because they weren't close either. Another hot take I've seen online about this movie, and I guess in Canto too, is just fuck your family, aka May should have run away, become a fucking, teenage homeless girl and lived her own damn life. I mean, excuse me, I've seen a lot of hot takes from people who probably themselves came from abusive families and probably had completely justified reasons for canceling their own parents. Yeah, I guess personally, if your parents abused you somehow, fine enough. Crimes were committed, you never have to see them again. But me personally, most of my family is dead, so I have to live with the loneliness of never seeing them again. And honestly, if you're just trying to cancel May's mom for the shit she was doing in the film, you're intensely spoiled and have a completely narrow worldview. Anyone arguing that a 14-year-old endowed with superpowers should have just straight up disowned her family and run away? I mean, I guess she could have, but what kind of life would she have had then? Why is anyone arguing for that? That would have been a whole different movie, whole different barrel of worms, although I guess it's a fun creative exercise to think about, what her life would have been then. Maybe she would have used the panda powers to become an assassin, or maybe she would have completely discarded her humanity, live out her sad days in the forest as a fully wild animal or something. Hell, maybe she will become Bigfoot after that. Anyway, long story short, guys, talk to your families, work your shit out. Don't fucking cancel your mom and dad. That's ridiculous. I also thought it was super fun near the end of the movie that she figured out how to do a Super Mario style double jump, and at that point she was pretty fucking cool. The one thing I'm gonna say bad about this movie that I straight up outright hated was that in the climax of the film, basically the climax of the film is that May twerks at her mom as a fuck you mom thing. I hate this moment so much. To start off with, it's anachronistic for the 2002 timeline of the film. Twerking was not a thing until Miley Cyrus invented in 2011, and that's a major line in the sand for most people who just think twerking is a silly dance move versus twerking is a sign of vulgarity because you're literally shaking your ass. I mean, I by and large think twerking is just a skanky thing to do, and I don't hate anyone who does it. I'm not in the camp who's oh my god, periods in a Disney movie, oh my god, horny women in a Disney movie. But I do think it's completely stupid and just childish as a climactic final attack in a kid's movie. Yeah, this was a very childish kid's movie. Alright, so overall, I'm going to give Turning Red a happy 7 out of 10. Because pros, I dug the typical Pixar versus anime style that they incorporated in the film. I dug the gorgeous Canadian visuals. I thought it was a very interesting Canadian fangirl story. I thought the mom was very complex as a character. And I just always gotta love a kaiju movie. Godzilla's cool. This had a kaiju in it. It was cool. Cons, twerking is dumb. Okay, so this was my completely positive review of Turning Red. Alright, please subscribe. See you later.